So, lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainers.
The superstar who reignited basketball in Indiana just sent the loudest message in WNBA history without uttering a word. Caitlin Clark, the face of women's hoops and the only player packing arenas like a Taylor Swift tour, has reportedly gone silent on the Indiana Fever's medical staff following her latest groin injury.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
And truth be told, it's long overdue. Someone had to call out this franchise for treating their once-in-a-generation star like a supporting act in someone else's script. Behind the doors of Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the cracks are showing, and the whispers are growing louder that Caitlin Clark could be plotting her exit from Indiana far sooner than anyone ever imagined.
She has met with a different doctor, and she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, you know, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. When Caitlin Clark hobbled off the court on July 15th against the Connecticut Sun, clutching her right groin in clear frustration, it wasn't just another injury. It was a tipping point. What insiders are already calling a Kawhi Leonard situation, where a franchise cornerstone finally loses all trust in their team's medical staff.
Lose Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available.
Clark has now suffered 4 separate muscle injuries this season. Left groin strain, left quadriceps injury, and now a right groin strain. For a player who had never missed a game due to injury in her college career at Iowa or her rookie WNBA season, this injury parade isn't just bad luck. It's a pattern that screams medical mismanagement.
But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
The real breaking point came when Clark was hurried back from her earlier groin injury, only to re-aggravate it just a few games later. According to sources close to the situation, Clark flat out told team officials, "I'm getting my own doctors. I'm not using our doctors." Since then, she's been consulting outside physicians and has completely cut off updates to the Fever's training staff.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known, we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
Let's break down the facts the Indiana Fever would rather keep under wraps. Caitlin Clark's injury timeline reads like a case study in medical mismanagement. On May 3rd, she sat out the exhibition opener with left leg soreness. On May 26th, she missed the first game of her career due to a left quad strain. By June, she was sidelined for 5 games with a left groin injury. Then on July 15th, she went down with a right groin injury in the final minutes against the Connecticut Sun. Finally, on July 24th, the Fever announced there was no timetable for her return and offered 0 additional details at 11 regular season games missed, plus the Commissioner's Cup final. Nearly half the season lost to recurring soft tissue injuries. Injuries that, with proper conditioning and competent medical oversight, are often preventable.
The people are speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back like this, and I said this before, Caitlin Clark mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July, and then that brings us until now.
But here's where things get really revealing. Clark went out and got second opinions in New York, without ever looping in the Fever's medical staff on the results. Coach Stephanie White even admitted she hadn't spoken to the trainers about what Clark's outside doctors had found. When your franchise player is making medical calls on her own, that's not just about an injury. It's about a complete breakdown of trust. And that breakdown runs deeper than the training room. When the Fever brought in Stephanie White, fans thought they were getting an upgrade from Christy Sides, a proven leader, 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year, and a former Fever champion who knew what winning looked like. Instead, what they've gotten is a coach seemingly more focused on tinkering with what works than actually protecting the only thing that truly matters. Caitlin Clark.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks.
Here's
and
the
I
dirty
stand
truth
with you,
no one in
Caitlin
Indiana
Clark.
wants to admit. Christy Sides, for all her flaws, actually knew how to use Caitlin Clark. Say what you will about her shortcomings as a coach, but she understood one core principle. When you have a generational player, you build around them. You don't try to wedge them into your system. Sides let Clark be Clark. She put the ball in her hands, let her dictate the tempo, and watch the magic unfold. The payoff? A rookie season that shattered WNBA records, dragged the Fever back to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and sold out every arena she stepped into. Now contrast that with Stephanie White. Her recent comments about wanting Clark off the ball and splitting lead guard duties show a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes Clark extraordinary. You don't take the ball out of Magic Johnson's hands just because defenses are pressuring him. You don't sit Michael Jordan because he's facing a double team. And you don't turn Caitlin Clark into a glorified role player simply because your system can't keep up with greatness.